All right, hello and welcome to a new episode of Northeast Kansas Guru Venue. So, it's a fairly quiet evening. I assume it's it's afternoon. So it's a fairly quiet afternoon here. At least I think it was afternoon in the scene. On the Sept. I can't remember the name of the Sept right now. But there's a very angry guru in lupus form stalking around the Sept in like the veil protected areas. She's very obviously annoyed and kind of pacing. She's got kind of the same expression she does in the picture, with the sort of growling, snarling face at people who come up and try to talk to her, unless they're higher rank, of course. Have some way of calming her down a bit. And we'll let everybody else intro.
Lita's just probably sitting outside somewhere under the shade of probably the one or two trees that's on Sept. Working, probably working with some leather to pass the time, and just seems very content doing that.
Yeah, she'll probably have the wolf stalk by. She'll probably sniff her, realize who it is, walk around her, kind of still growling. Almost, since you can understand Guru tongue, you can understand she's the growling and snarling is her muttering, doing the lupus equivalent of muttering under her breath, where she eventually huffs and just flops down next to Lita and just watches what she's doing with the leather.
Lita looks over. Is everything all right?
And in the growling, gruff Guru tongues just goes, "Stupid Guru, going to get themselves killed."
She frowns. What are they doing?
Letting a Geta Fenris with rocks for brains lead a stealth mission.
Alexandra peeks out from behind the tree. Is he good at stealth?
Lita jumps slightly, not expecting someone to be on the other side of the tree.
And Siobhan looks over at Alexandra and says, "Still in Guru tongue." "No, he has a loud voice. That's why he's leading."
Too bad then. Shall we go and lead a daring rescue then?
The wolf kind of does like that little weird wolf laugh that you do when you're in lupus and says, "Cleanup crew," as she starts shifting up into her Hamid form now that she's calmed down a bit.
Well, we can go clean up if we need to, I suppose. Where did they go?
The park with the zoo, the one that had the explosion.
She frowns a little bit.
All right, I heard a little bit about that. Do they think that there was something going on there?
Well, when we arrived, there were minor banes around, so the fire probably was tainted in some way. But we didn't even make it in the park before they started devolving. They're not a pack. It's incredibly obvious because they don't work like a pack.
I mean, if they fail, do we just want to go there?
That would be the best idea, but might want to wait a day or two because I'm sure whatever they're going to do is going to heighten security immeasurably.
I mean, there is the Umbra. We can just go and ask some of the spirits, especially if there were some Banes floating around.
Well, that was what we were planning on doing, but they were didn't know how to mess with Weaver spirits. So I'd imagine there'll be a number of Weaver warrior spirits descending on the park any minute now.
Very exasperated sigh from Lita.
Sounds like a lot of get good. I'm down.
She nods. Yes. Hopefully they survive. If not, well, you cull the weak from the nation now, isn't it?
Lita nods. Yep. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Incompetent Garu, I guess, shouldn't be fighting.
She nods.
Besides, who all is there again?
She tilts her head back, thinks. Well, we had the Bone Gnar, who talks funny. We had some Gedefenris who radiated rage in the Umbra. Probably kin of some rage spirit, from what I would think from looking at him. We had a child of Gaia who is every stereotype I've heard about that tribe put together. And well, I think that was all other than me.
He slowly nods. Looks like we're gonna have to go fix this then.
Well, hey,
Would have been likely. Oh, sorry, Tim.
My bad.
Sorry, you're good. You go.
Okay, she was just going to say, with all luck, maybe they'll accomplish whatever they're going there to do.
Oh, I can hope.
If not, then us more competent Garu can go and do what needs to be done.
Aye. By the way, have you guys thought about making a pack yet?
I have.
Well, I don't really know that many people yet, but make a pack, yeah.
Well, I mean, there's 3 of us here. That's a start.
And a rune and 2 galliards.
Aye. Should be quite the interesting pack, I think. Question there would become getting one of the set there, which is to help us get in contact with the spirit to patronize our pack.
Yep. Lita thinks for a moment. There's a... Well, I don't know.
Yeah, she kind of shrugs. And says, it is, well, I guess we'll have to make friends with the Theurges on the sept then.
There's one that I worked with not too long ago. Nightmares. He taught me rite of cleansing. But I don't think they... I think he said that he can't talk to spirits yet. But he seems to be pretty cool. For a guy.
Wait, who was this?
Endures the nightmares. He's a lupus.
Yes, you mean you can't talk to spirits?
Yeah, I don't... Yeah.
He's a theurge that can't talk to spirit.
So he's one of the Theurges who should have been on the pack, or on with the group in the park, as I'm hearing.
He's a clear, and he doesn't know. Oh no! Alexandra's just gonna turn, just very gently, place her head against the wall, against the tree.
Oh yeah, Lita's kind of the same. She's like, shrugs her shoulders. I mean, he is a man.
I don't know what that has to do with. And then she sniffs the air. Oh, okay, that's what that has to do with it.
Black Fury, Pure Breed 5.
So is Tony's brother going to join us? By the way, Kim, you are incredibly quiet. Like, I didn't even know you were talking.
Yeah, you've got to speak up.
How about that?
There we go.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's better.
But yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Joey. It's totally not like I had to come up on the fly with a name at like 2 in the morning. Tony's totally not now related, a kinfolk or whatever. But how will go up on the Bond, or on the outskirts of the sept, whatever it's called. I don't know, werewolf. Basically saying, Oliver Zhang listens with patience, requests to enter the sept. I am a Philodox, Hamid Stargazer.
When the howl goes up, Siobhan looks at Lita and Alexander and says, so how about we go greet the new and then see if the pack could become 2 Galliards, an Arun, and a Philodox? And she winks.
We should probably get to know him first.
Lita frowns. Like, this is the man that she doesn't know. She's just like, nope. We'll let him in, but I'm not gonna. No, he's a man that I don't know.
Well, of course we got to get to know him, and then we'll make the offer. But we can go in it kind of looking at, kind of testing them, seeing if they'd be a good fit for the pack. That's what I was meaning.
She looks very put off by the idea of a man joining the pack. Very put off.
Just shrugs.
Actually, you know what? Alexandra, she's going to look over the Lita and she's going to say, were we to have higher numbers, I would definitely understand more where you're coming from. However, in times such as these, we don't have as much time for idealism.
Idealism? What are you talking about?
Refusing men to be or just men in general.
Yeah, to her, that's not idealism. That's traditional. That's tradition.
For a Shadow Lord, it's idealism.
Um, she's just like, I don't see how that's maybe to you, but not to me. For one, I mean, look, I am not comfortable with a man I don't know joining the pack so soon. It's not happening. And if I have to go off
Sorry.
and form my own pack, I will.
So we can take our time to get to know him. Siobhan says she's slow shifting into Lupus and then loping off because she's impatient. She's got impatient.
They'll just be going on, and she'll be walking along with Leah, and she'll say, I mean, I know I personally am hesitant to allow anyone I don't know personally to be a part of the pack, period. But sex to me means less. No, I'll be honest, it entirely doesn't matter.
So yeah, Gru coming to greet him, smelling like hella fuck as much pure breed.
Oh, I forgot to put it on the sheet. He's got 1 dot of Stargazer pure breed.
Dun
his
dun dun.
thing.
All the pure breed.
But yeah.
How
Basically,
much pure breed?
just 1.
Oh, okay.
I gotta put that on the sheet real quick. Or his over the the thing. I just got back from working outside. I'm sorry, my brain is like leaves right now. Anyway, so there's just this sort of lean, silver. I think silver is their color. Wolf, just sitting there waiting patiently.
So yeah, Siobhan kind of walks up and kind of sniffs some pads around him. Then takes a few steps back and announces herself as Siobhan McFinn, Hamid, Fiona, Clea, and then she looks to the other two to introduce themselves.
Alexandra Knight, Cleeth Galliard, the Shadow Lords born on 2 legs.
Lita then says, Lita Gabris, Black Fury, Arun, Hamid, Liaf.
It's a pleasure to meet you all. As I announced before, I am Oliver Zhang. Listens with patience.
Lita is carefully looking him over.
Yeah, he's sitting there. He's not really showing a lot of emotion. And he's just, looking at the 3 of them.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Oliver?
What would you like to know?
Why are you here for the sept? Well, we can't really let you in without a good reason, so especially as Earl Cleith, We don't exactly want to get in trouble with the elders.
Of course, I understand that. I am coming from California. Um, I've decided that here, Kansas would be a good way to rest for a little bit and see if I can't make a life for myself here.
She nods and shifts up into Hamid. Says, well, before we let you on Sept, I'd like Lita. Do you know anyone on Sept that I could find that can test the new worm taint?
Me?
Claps her hands. Well, if you can do that, then I'll cleanse him afterwards if he's all good, and then we can let him on the Sept.
All right. So I will roll for sense worm. Let me change my nickname here.
Just hope you don't botch and say, "Oh my God, she's so worm tainted."
Please don't.
Miss 5.
What's the diff?
Fuck it, let's set that shit.
I'd set, but
Sorry.
At what? It's the lower the worm taint, the higher the difficulty, right? Or is it the other way around?
Let me check. I can go to work in just a second.
While they're checking that, Alexandra will look to Oliver and say, "We're from California."
San Francisco.
Nice. Much better than Fresno. She'll wink to him.
Definitely.
Okay, it is the less worm taint there is, the higher the diff. Yes.
Okay. So it'd be what, like diff 7 or 8?
Mm-hmm. I'd imagine.
Where's the dice roller?
Oh, I went with diff 8 and I got 1 success.
Perfect.
So I would guess that the only worm taint he has on him is residual from being outside in the city and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Lita looks to Siobhan. He's fine. Just needs to be cleansed like normal.
All right, perfect. And she rubs her hands together and says, well, cracks her knuckles. Well, let's get started then. And then she goes through the rite of cleansing. And the way she does the rite of cleansing is basically she takes him and, goes to a stream, and like kind of almost does a like, I might have to mute here.
Okay, so yeah, we'll just Lita, having just learned this right herself, will just watch carefully on how she does it. And yeah, when cleansing is finished, I assume that they will take him onto the sept.
I think you can, but it would be
You can cleanse yourself.
It would be more trustworthy for the girl on the sept to do it, though.
Okay, I was just curious. Like, I came in with like a fuck ton of rights.
And yeah, Siobhan will lead her into the sept.
And he will follow along quietly. I am sorry if I was interrupting anything before my arrival.
Not really, just talking about some Geru that were being. How do I put this nicely? She looks to Siobhan.
I would
Being-
say
She's would hasty be the right word?
I'd think that would fit.
What has happened?
Arons of the Fenrir are leading stealth missions into the city.
I do not believe those words go together.
Lita kind of throws up her hand like, he gets it. Yeah, I didn't know that this was happening, or I would have went along as an Arun myself, and I'm actually all right with stealth. Probably would have been better suited to lead that mission, but whatever.
It's the type of Varun where you had to knock it into his head that you're leading first. Somehow I don't think you'd have much of a problem with that.
She kind of flexes her muscles. She has strength 3 in Hamid, so
I mean,
yeah, not really.
I know I could run that mission pretty well myself too.
Siobhan chuckles, and when Lita was flexing, Siobhan was very like appreciative.
How appreciative was she?
Like not giving to not. This is actually probably really bad to do with the Philodox there, but
A little bit. This dude is a hard ass for the litany. I'm just saying.
she was watching. Didn't seem to not enjoy the view.
Lita's just showing off.
And she'll yeah, they were being a little hasty, you could say.
He nods. It says, you say this was with haste, so I'm assuming it was less planned and more like whoever was around ran off to do this.
Well, the Sept officials told us to go do it, and so a group of us went off to go do it, and it didn't quite go well. At least it wasn't going well before I left, so at least someone survived to tell the Sept about what happened.
He nods. I might ask, has there been anything else going on in this set?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Well, that is good to hear, to say the least.
Looks around. Well, why don't we go see if anyone on the Sept has some food that we can eat while we're talking? Does tend to mention that even when she's sitting still, she's like bouncing her leg or something. She's always has at least some movement going on.
Lita takes note of that, but it doesn't seem to bother her, really. She's like, yeah, food sounds good. And she looks to uh, Oliver. You're probably hungry, huh?
I had something on the way over here, but that was a few hours ago, so another meal would not be unwelcome.
She'll nod. All right.
But by the
Let's
way,
get
Lindsay, it sounds like somebody's putting your voice through like a fast forward button.
Yeah, I think that's like lag.
Yeah.
I think that's what that is.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was like mics getting disconnected or something like that, because I know they do weird things like that.
No. Just my internet's hated me the last week or so.
Gotcha.
Just channel your inner knocker and beat the shit out.
Alexandra though will look at Oliver and kind of narrow her eyes, not really in a sus way, but just kind of like she's noticing something. She'll say, "You sure you don't need a nap either?"
To be frank with you, the last thing I want to do right now is sleep.
Fair.
He'll just sort of nod because he's in lupus form right now. I don't think he's really going to smile.
And now Siobhan motions for everyone to follow her. She takes off through the steps. She's very much like a take charge and get going type. Like, yeah, let's do the thing.
Yeah, Leo was kind of doing the same thing. She'll keep pace with Siobhan.
And while they're walking, she's joking about things. She talks a lot, like more than I really bothered her because it would get annoying. But she's always talking about something, while they're walking, making jokes. She'll make a joke and she'll kind of elbow Lita, that sort of thing, and then she'll talk with Alexandra and Oliver. She's very much the talkative type.
How about how she's very much the what type?
Talkative type.
Alexandra says, "I am too. You've seen me. It's fine."
Oh, I was saying that out of character, not that's what she was talking about.
Okay, no, that's her response.
Oh, okay.
That would be her response. Actually, where are they going again?
Somewhere on the bond to go looking for food. If not, I assume there's somewhere on the bond they could get food.
Yeah, we'll just say that there is.
Because if not, Siobhan would take them out to like get food in the city or something. She'll, well, after they get their food and sit down to eat, she'll just go, it's definitely quite interesting being here. Except is a lot different than the one I was trained at, I guess you could say.
There's not as many trees here as there's the one I'm from.
One thing I noticed was my sept that I was trained at was in upstate New York, so there's a lot more trees.
Mine's isn't Kentucky International Park.
And sept of running streams. That's what I was trained.
And I gotta look up the name of the one she's from. It's Canada
Gotcha.
and Black Fury Sept.
Yeah, well, Vita's, thinking about that. Talk to you later, Tim. Siobhan just starts kind of not quite singing. It's kind of like the under her breath sort of singing type thing, where she just kind of singing to herself very quietly.
I found it. She says, "Sept of the Moon's Blessing."
Oh, nice. Definitely an interesting sept, I think.
Very wild oriented.
Aye, but that's sort of the thing with your tribe, isn't it? You're very oriented towards the wild and protecting it in the wild places.
She just keeps nodding. Yeah. I don't even own a cell phone. I don't like cars. But there's other reasons for me not liking cars.
She nods. Understandable. Nothing really quite compares to the feeling of running on your own four legs through the forest. I can agree there. She looks to Oliver and says, "So you're pretty quiet on, aren't you?"
I didn't hear what she said. My bad.
She said, "You're a pretty quiet one, aren't you?"
I am new here among people and other Garu that I do not know. I find it is best to listen until I acclimate myself here.
She nods and says, "Well, do you want to hear a story then?"
Sure.
She looks over at Lady. "Do you want to hear a story too?"
Yeah, of course.
She kind of, cracks her neck. Cracks her knuckles and says, "All right. So this is a story that I learned a while ago, from centuries and centuries ago. Sorry about that. A little bit of technical difficulties. She cracks her knuckles and says, "So this story is from centuries and centuries ago. It's an old tale from before the Fianna were really Fianna, back when we were many small tribes. The tribe of this story was the one that had the name Fianna, the Fierce Ones, back in and the greatest sept of the Fianna, Tara, was their home. It was a great, and still is a very great and hidden sept. Well, there was a hunter of the Fianna at that time. He was renowned for his skill in hunting the beasts and the Fomorians of Ireland, and even other tribes in the area had heard of him. Well, he was hunting with his pack one day. There was a very, very evening, unusually cold even for Ireland. And in their hunts for creatures of the worm, they encountered a strange spirit. It appeared to be of the wild, but it was nothing that Aethrin or his people or his pack had ever encountered before. And he followed this wild spirit for days, following it over mountains, through deep forests, following it for so long that even his pack broke and had to returned to the Sept because they couldn't keep up with the Great Hunter. And after many days of tracking her, following this spirit, it led him to a lake. And Aethrin saw the spirit enter the lake. And as was his wont, he was not one to give up prey easily. He followed it into the lake. The great shining city that he saw when he emerged on the other side of the lake. The shining creatures greeted him. After speaking with them for strange tongues, Aethrin found he could understand them. He was brought before their queen, who was quite intrigued to meet one of Gaia's children. Of himself, told her of the many hunts that he'd undertaken, the many creatures he'd hunted, the many disasters that his pack had caused. I wouldn't say avoidance of, but it caused the impact to be lessened by the destruction of the worm creatures causing them. And this queen was quite impressed with Aethrin to the point where she took him as a consort. However, though the days that they spent were very happy and bright in this strange land under the lake, Aethrin soon discovered that the creatures of the worm had found Tara. They had struck at it in vengeance. And so he spoke with the queen, of whom he was her consort, and through the great elegance of his tribe, he convinced her to send an army to aid his people. The Sept still tells tales of a great army emerging from the horizon, almost from the sunrise itself, their glittering mail reflecting the light to burn the creatures of the worm. Members of the Sept were quite impressed to see this army, and after the battle, they sought to meet its leader. However, Aethrin could not recognize any of them. They were all strange to him, even those who claimed they were the elders of the Sept. When he tried to find his old pack, he discovered that they were dead, having been dead for over 100 years. So that is how he learned that him under the lake was not quite in time with Gaia. And the elders of the Sept asked him to stay, for such a great warrior was, well, someone that you'd want. For times were growing dark then, and the Fomorians were stirring in their endless sleep. However, instantly called back. His blood itself sang that he should return to his queen, and so he was unable to stay. However, it was said that a week after Aethrin left, 9 pups were found outside of the Sept that had strange scents and bore great traces of the wild in them. And they grew to be great warriors, each and every one of them. Great leaders, eloquent of tongue, but enigmatic in many ways and unpredictable. They had many children, and their bloodlines still surface occasionally in our pups and our cubs. This day it is said that in times of great need, Aethrin and his hosts will aid the greatest of the Fianna in their times of need. Which kind of, after she finishes that, she takes a sip of like water or something, because she was talking for a fair minute there, and her throat got kind of dry.
Mm-hmm. Lita was engrossed in the tale. When she's finished, she gives a little clap.
Out of character, I've had that story sitting for over 3 years waiting to tell.
Wow.
Like an out of character time.
It was a wonderful story.
She nods. Aye, it's one of the ones that we usually tell at festivals. Usually the festivals for winter starts, Tales of Hope, you know. They're always good for going into the winter season.
Indeed.
And she kind of sips the water. She takes another sip of the water and looks and says, "Ale here. I have to go and set some up." So it's some sort of delivery system. And she kind of trails off talking to herself.
Well, I'm sure we could always later on go out to the city and grab something of the sort.
We can probably do that. I don't imagine it would be that difficult.
Indeed.
Besides, I'd really love to go get some KFC. I haven't had KFC in years.
Really?
Hi, really?
Lita frowns at the thought of fast food.
Well,
Siobhan just, sorry, Kim.
not bad. You go.
We haven't been talking as much.
Yeah, you go. I got this.
No, you go.
No, you go.
No, you go.
I won't mute my mic.
Okay. Siobhan just kind of looks at Lita and tilts her head to the side and frowns a little and says, do you not like KFC? I know. She claps her hands together. You look like a Wendy's kind of girl to me.
Frowning intensifies.
Oh? She's tapping her lips now. I've never been wrong about the kind of, food that people like, the kind of fast food they like. Don't tell me you're a McDonald's person.
I don't really like fast food. It tastes weird.
Have you ever seen like the emoji you make with the D and then you put the eyes on the right side of it?
Yes.
Have you ever seen imagine a personified version of that emoji, and that's Siobhan's face right now. That one.
hmm
That is the look she has on her face right now. Well, that's terrible. And she's like,
It is terrible because the food is terrible. It's not even, I'm not sure it's even real food.
She's clutching at her chest now. It's not the food that you go there for, it's the atmosphere,
I mean, I'll go with you, but I'm not going to eat it.
She's also a little bit of a drama queen show, so she's kind of still clutching her chest and kind of.
Oh yeah, Lita, like, okay, this is a Fiona Galliard, of course.
You know it is.
I'm sure that
possible.
this isn't the first time she's witnessed Siobhan's dramaticism.
You know it is possible
ahead.
to simply go to the store and to buy the makings for something like fried chicken.
It's true, but it doesn't have quite. Sorry.
There you go.
God damn it, Kim, you go.
Nope. Not gonna happen.
Nope, you gotta do it.
He just says won't have exactly the disgusting grease taste to it. Definitely be much more edible.
Well, you see, the disgusting grace part, that's part of the hometown charm of it, you know.
Not to everyone.
She just frowns at that, takes a sip of her water, sets it down. You know, it would really be awesome to have Jesus' powers in reverse. Turn water into wine, you know. Except you gotta turn it into beer, because wine ain't strong enough.
I figured you would prefer whiskey.
Whiskey's good, but I prefer a strong Irish stout, you know.
Lita just kind of shakes her head. She even looks at Oliver and gives him a look like, "Can you believe her?"
Oliver doesn't seem to he doesn't really like, he acknowledges her, but he doesn't like kind of, do the whole nod of acknowledgement or smile or anything. He just sort of looks at her. It's clear that he's just like, yes, I understand.
Okay.
It's not. You could probably guess that it's just him trying to understand it all. It's not like him being rude or anything. He's just a little bit in like this right now. So.
Yeah, she gets that he's not going to engage in the drama of the situation, which she can appreciate that. She just, yeah. What am I gonna do with you, Siobhan?
She does like this really overdramatic wink and says, "Oh, you could go out to fast food with me." She then does like the super dramatic wink,
I told you I would go.
and her face like lights up. Like, take that emoji from earlier and flip the D the other way around, and that's her face now.
Come on, let's go. Oliver, are you gonna come with us?
Sure. I would be delighted.
Yeah. Three of them will then go on a fast food adventure.
Boy. At least they're all Hamid.
That is true.
Yeah, we could bring the lupus. That could have been something.
One day we should grab a lupus and take them out to fast food.
Oh god.
Beautiful. Reminds me of one of the crossover scene in Elma that had to get retcon, where a bunch of lupus were given a Glasswalker's credit card and they ordered everything in the bar.
No. Oh no.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's horrible.
They racked up like a $300 charge.
Holy shit. Poor dude.
So, with the three Guru going off to have their fast food adventure, we will end the scene for now. So, thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And stay tuned for more.